So, you know, the SWAT warrants that we used to do back then in the day at rock houses can get kind of interesting. They're very dynamic, they're very fast, uh, but sometimes they're, you know, funny things that happen, capers that kind of offshoots of the, you know, from having done one of those operations. And one of them was, I believe I was working with Steve Steer, we were an exterior, and we had these two long ladders, and when we're doing the warrants, uh, we not only have aerials and everything else, we have ground photos, so we knew ahead of time that we're going to need two long ladders. And I think this was, if I'm not mistaken, somewhat like an old kind of semi-Victorian three-story house. So we had these long ladders that had to go up, and we were looking at the bathroom window at the top floor. And our ladders only went so far, but you know, there's narrow little tiny windows, and so we take the ladders, rubber, you know, we got them rubber bumpered and everything else so they're not making any sound. We come up, place them, stand by, ready, initiate. And what we're doing is Steve and I go up on separate ladders, and we get up there and I brake, and Steve's got a flashbang, and he takes, you know, pulls it, takes it, drops it inside this narrow window. You can tell from the overheads, usually, from standpipes and everything else, where a bathroom is or where a laundry is or a kitchen and so forth. But and I think we had reasonable assumption that this was in fact a bathroom. Anyway, he drops this thing in, and that thing goes off, and you hear this horrendous screaming, and we're looking at each other like, yeah, okay, well, there's nothing we can do at that point. And can't really cover because the window was so high above. I mean, it was still like the bottom of it's up here. And so when I broke just basically bottom portion of the window, he gets that flashbang in, and the screen, you know, detonates, screen goes off. Apparently what happened is when they were hitting down below, because the timing's never always going to be at the same time, so down below all this stuff is going on, so I'm assuming that the suspect kind of gets pushed from the bottom floors upward toward us. Well, he jumps in a bathtub, and when he jumped in the bathtub, he's got this big, huge, bushy hair, and it's got all this hair gel in it. Hair gel is very flammable, and apparently the flashbang landed in the hair, and when it went off, it set his hair on fire. So apparently when the entry team came in down below, you got the suspect running down with his little hair on fire and everything else. And I remember going in later on, it wasn't too far after that, we get down and coming out, and the suspect's he's hooked up, sitting on the couch with all the tendrils of smoke coming out of his hair. You know, we had no intention. He wasn't injured or anything else. He just kind of had an unusual new hairstyle. But it was kind of funny that, you know, all those things kind of, you know, came together at the same time. He just picked the wrong attitude to have in the bathtub, positional attitude, and the wrong timing, and we just happened to deploy that flashbang, and he happened to be having a lot of this, you know, hair gel, which is highly flammable in his hair at the same time. So you put all those together, and it made for an interesting warrant.